It's not always that as an elite international athlete that you can be well into your 38th year and still feel genuinely excited, wow, about what lies ahead, in the next 10 months. I'm talking about Rohit Sharma, who's had a phenomenal last 2.5 years, and yet is looking ahead to maybe a career-defining year in front of him. So as we look ahead to why these 10 months are exciting, let's take a look back at why we are excited by what lies ahead. I thought the best thing that happened in Rohit Sharma's career and happened late in his career as an international player was becoming captain of India. He has taken to leadership like a fish to water. I loved his arm round the shoulder approach. There's a lot of empathy about Rohit Sharma. I look at the teams that he leads and they seem to play with a lot of joy, with a lot of freedom. They seem to look upon cricket as a game, which is what it's meant to be. So that's just his style, and I think it's a style that's working really well for him. Virat Kohli had his style, Saurav Ganguly had his style, MS Dhoni had his style. But India is now playing in the manner that Rohit Sharma wants them to play, and the kind of person that Rohit Sharma is. I think he might have said that at the Seat Cricket Awards, that if I want my team to be a certain way, I have to be that kind of person too. And I've enjoyed seeing this Indian team play under Rohit Sharma. Let's see what he's done in white ball cricket. I think that's, at this stage, tended to define him more as a captain than in red ball cricket. October 2022. India didn't have such a bad series, to be honest. India lost that semi-final badly, 1-4, lost 2 in international cricket. And in spite of that great game in Melbourne, India went out of the T20 World Cup looking a slightly conservative, a slightly dated T20 side. And it's been said by players who are alongside him that Rohit said, we will not play cricket like this again. And just look at what has happened thereafter. Rohit himself, striking normally right through his career in one-day cricket at 92, goes up to 112, as captain goes up to 118, has a phenomenal World Cup, 500 plus, striking at well over 100. But most interestingly, he got out 5 times within 46 and 49. Now, that's normally not a great stat, but it tells you that he wasn't obsessed with getting to a landmark. One of the loveliest things about Rohit Sharma as captain is he's taken away this allure, this often distracting allure of the individual landmark and said, no, we will play a certain way. And by taking the lead, he has told everyone, come follow me, and everyone starts to play like him. So that World Cup of 2022, pain that it left behind was there, but India played absolutely wow limited overs cricket. And then India went to the West Indies. Post that 2022 T20 World Cup, India have won 17 out of their 19 games. Only lost 1 game in a World Cup in 19 matches. Nobody can boast of that record over such a number of games, over such a period of time. And this is astonishing. India have now set the benchmark in white ball cricket, and it's up to the other teams now to play catch-up. Rohit Sharma has ensured that teams are looking at India that way. But there is also within him a fire that sometimes you can almost miss. This in what iron fist in a velvet glove. I think that's what Nasser Hussain said about him. And you could see the pain when India lost in November against Australia. And I saw the pain in a photograph a week later. It hadn't gone away. And then I saw something I haven't seen Rohit Sharma do ever since I started seeing him play from back in 2006 when India won in Barbados. The hammering the turf, all the emotion was coming out, and I said, wow, this seemingly easygoing man is much, much deeper than I thought. Rohit Sharma, the white ball captain, has been absolutely sensational. What about red ball? India won a series in the West Indies. I think it hurt him a little that he didn't come back with a series win against South Africa. It was India's, I'll be honest. I'm not running down South Africa, but India could have won that series 2-0, won the second test in some style. But that disappointed him a little bit. But I think what he did in the home series against England was just fantastic. Don't forget, India playing without Virat Kohli, without Mohammad Shami, without KL Rahul, without Rishabh Pant, and against an England side that actually was travelling very well until they came to India. 4-1, sometimes we can look at it and say, at home in India, that's the aura that India have created. But I thought as a captain, he was just fantastic. 4-1 against England. So that is his legacy as captain so far. It's a short legacy, but I think Rohit Sharma will be looking to the next 10 months that might well define his era. If he has a great 10 months in front of him, I think he will go down in history as one of the greatest Indian captains. Look what lies ahead of him. There's 5 home test matches, and those are important because if India can sweep those 5, then all you need is a draw in Australia to make the World Test Championship. But I can assure you it's the numbers people who are thinking like that. Rohit isn't. He wants to go to Australia and win again. He realizes there are people like Pat Cummins who've never beaten India in a test series. India won in 18, India won in 21, one of the best series that I've ever seen. But India can go back and win 3-3 in Australia. Wow. So that is a huge challenge. It's a very good Australian team, and they are just waiting to turn the tables against India. So that lies ahead. Then there's a Champions Trophy. Almost certainly India will be in a 3rd World Test Championship final and then 5 test matches against England. It takes you all the way through to the start of August, 10, 11 months from now. And if he can do that, wow. And there's no reason why India cannot. India have the base. India have the spin bowling talent. But more and more, India started to develop reserves of fast bowling. But a lot will depend on how Rohit Sharma is able to pull everyone along and actually not let that pressure weigh down on him. Because there will be days in these next 11 months when the tide will be against India, especially in Australia, maybe also in England. And I'd be very, very keen to see how Rohit Sharma handles this. He'll be past 38 by the time that happens. But at the moment, captaincy is just bringing out the youthfulness in him. He's batting as well as ever before since becoming captain. That's opening the batting. He's averaging 50 plus. Very, very important how he goes at the top. But I'd also be very keen to see how he manages all the people around him. He's got a core of great experience and skill in Bumrah, Ashwin, Kohli, Jadeja. And then a lot will depend on how the cast around it comes through. Mohammad Siraj, Mohammad Shami coming back will be such a big part. Can he get Akash Deep, Yash Dayal, maybe get a Prasidh Krishna in, Mukesh Kumar maybe, there's a nice Harshit Rana maybe, there's a nice little funnel through which some fast bowling talent is coming along. Then Kuldeep and Akshar, so he's got a decent spin at that, but I think a lot will depend on the atmosphere he's able to create and the way he's able to shepherd players like KL Rahul in his second wind in Test cricket, Rishabh Pant coming back to becoming a full-blown Test player again, and especially Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shubman Gill. So if he can manage all that, a bit of hand-holding, a bit of arm around the shoulder, then as I said earlier, this could well be the defining phase of Rohit Sharma's career, a career that began so long ago. I remember seeing him in 2006, and a friend of mine, a fellow commentator, saying, don't think twice, just put him in the national team now. He hadn't even played for India then. It was a bit of a stop-start career. Do you know what? There's a lesson there for a lot of very talented people. It might come late, but savor it. And for Rohit Sharma at the moment, these are times to savor. Fabulous 11 months ahead of him. Watch Rohit Sharma very, very close. It doesn't matter if he's not captain in the IPL. In fact, I wish he's not captain in the IPL because it's going to be really hard, stressful times for him. Maybe you can just chill in the IPL and go and strike at 140, 150 and have fun. But home series, Australia, Champions Trophy, World Test Championship, and then 5 in England. Fantastic. Looking forward to it. So thank you for watching and do subscribe to this channel.